All right, you guys. So we're back. We have some more great content to cover. This, of course, is an article from chess.com about Super Pogchamps. Now, we did a video recently where I spoke about the tournament. I really only covered a couple of players. I didn't really talk about the whole field. I had a feeling the people who were, who had played chess professionally as kids were likely to win, but ultimately there was a very, very big upset. So here we go with the news. Dark horse Same Reina goes from blunder master to Super Pog champion. It's an article by Pedro Pinata. No one could have predicted that Same Reina, one of the lowest rated players in the field, would win Super Pogchamps, but the comedian had the last laugh when he defeated Andrea Botez and Sardoche in the championship bracket to take the crown. In a full circle moment, Voyboy won the championship bracket won the consolation bracket, that's a typo, 5 years after winning the very first edition of Pogchamps in 2020. So this is this event was an 16 it was 6+6. It was a 12-player event. You see the consolation bracket, you see Voyboy, he beat Spargo, and then he beat Sonic Fox to win the lower bracket. Okay, so let's get to the championship bracket. Here we go. Championship semifinal, Sardoche mouse slips to victory. Same prevails after Botez gambit. It was probably the first time in Pogchamps history that we saw a brilliant move like the one played by Masaoka in game 1. Playing as white, Masaoka sacrificed his knight not to win the game or even material, but to force a perpetual check. And after a mouse slip by Sardoche in game 2, it seemed like Masi's strategy would work out perfectly. However, the actor missed the opportunity to punish his opponent's opening mistake. Sardoche fought bravely, equalizing the game and putting up an endgame clinic to win game 2 and the match. In the other match, Same Reina and Andrea Botez, Same came prepared with an opening system designed to counter Andrea's usual fianchetto openings. However, Andrea assessed the position well and punished Same's mistake, getting a winning position. Same still went for a stalemate trick that might well have worked in Pogchamps, but not quite in Super Pogchamps. Okay, so the match was 1-1, and then there was a tiebreaker, which Same won. Now, a lot of people who are going to watch this video in the comments on YouTube, you're going to be like, well, you said Andrea was going to win, or Andrea Botez or Linda Diaz were going to win. Now, I had a little bit of an epiphany when I was thinking about this last night. There are a couple of things that are important to note. And this is why it's very, very important when it comes to chess and assessing what chess is to understand how different things are. First things first. One thing that's important to note is that me as a top player, someone who is 2,700 plus, I could literally not play chess for the next 2 years, and the quality of my play would not go below 2,600. So what I mean by this is that if I don't study chess, I don't play online, I literally go to South America, I go to a farm and I raise some alpacas and everything. I don't know why I use that as an example, but you guys get my point. The quality of my play is not going to deteriorate to where I become less than like a 2600 GM. So strength of my play is going to remain extremely strong. Okay, so it's going to remain extremely strong. But the important thing to note here is that Linda Diaz, who was rated 1970 in over the board standard chess, I don't think she has played chess or even studied chess in literally 10 years. So at my level, I don't think the quality is going to drop a lot. But when you're playing at a level that's much lower, I think there's no reason, because you have a lack of fundamentals, that the quality of your play isn't going to deteriorate by a few hundred points. So So that's the first thing I'm going to say about this. Is I was thinking, like, I was wrong. I was under the incorrect assumption that Linda Diaz, who was the highest rated player by over the board ratings, had still like been active in chess. Kind of. I didn't actually go look at her chess history and everything else, but I don't think she's played chess or studied chess literally in the last decade. I know she played in the one tournament that Botez had like a year ago, but I don't think she's done anything chess-wise, chess related otherwise. So even though her rating was 1970, I would not be surprised if her rating now is something like 1600 or maybe 1700 at best. First point. Same thing, of course, applies to Andrea Botez, who I think was like 1920 or somewhere around their peak USCF rating. And now I think that her rating also has slid quite a bit. Now, in no way is this taken away from Sardoche or Same, but I'm using this to explain the first big flaw in my reason of why I thought that they would win. That's the first thing that I want to say. Now, the second part that I'm going to say, disregarding that, is that it's very easy to think about, I've said this before about top rated chess. Anytime I see some kid, or not anytime, but I used to think anytime you see some random kid who's like 12, 13 years old become really, really good, you see them get like 3,000, 3,100 blitz online, you're like, WTF, how is this possible? It can't happen. But obviously, as time has progressed and the game has changed, people get better a lot quicker. And I think the second part that I made a mistake on with the assumptions before the event is that I'm assuming that players can't just improve really quickly. But in fact, it's easier to improve much quicker at the lower levels than it is at the higher levels. So even if Sammy was, let's just say 1300 or something at the start over the board, I can see a world where if he studies every day, he can actually increase his rating by 200, 300, 400 points. It's not far-fetched that can happen. And so those are the two things that I think I got wrong in relation to my predictions about the event, is that I simply was forgetting that players who played chess like 10 years ago, I thought they wouldn't become that much weaker. But it was very clear that Linda Diaz was not playing anywhere even remotely close to a 1900 level. And by the way, I'm talking about over the board here. It's very, very important to note. I'm talking about over the board ratings. I'm not talking about online. I don't want to get into this because it's only going to confuse people more. But basically, if someone were 1900 over the board online, they should be like 2200, 2300. So like Samay's like 1900 is probably like 1600. But the point is that the players become much weaker if you don't play actively. So those are two things that I want to say about it that I think are very, very important. Is that I think that across all levels, it's entirely possible to become much better quicker than it used to be. So let's keep going. Okay, the victory set the champion stage for Samay would once more play against the highest rated player in the field, Sardosh. Now, Masaoka, by the way, is someone that I know personally. He also is, I think, a pretty strong player. I don't believe that Levy actually coached Samay. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's some video of Levy doing it. I was under the impression Samay, being the comedian, being very savvy, said a couple of things. I could be wrong, but that was my interpretation. So I don't think Levy actually directly coached Samay, but I think Samay definitely probably watched a couple of videos. Okay, so the championship final, the comeback king Samay overcomes all odds to take the crown. A crazy first game opened the final match of Super Pogchamps between Samay and Sardosh. The Indian player started off well, finding a series of aggressive moves to put pressure on Sardosh, but in a complex position, Samay went astray, and Sardosh got a promising advantage. Okay, but after one slip by the French streamer, Samay found one last brilliant resource to turn things around and draw first blood. Levy sent him 2 videos. Okay, so he sent him 2 10-minute videos. Okay, so pretty much what I said. It was a couple of videos on YouTube. So as probably the wildest game in Pogchamps history. Okay, we have a crazy game. Second game of the match. I think Samay lost the first game, and then he won the second game, and then he won the tiebreaker to become the champion. I'm feeling so good. I cannot believe what has happened, Samay said in the post-game interview. When asked if he would continue practicing chess, Samay joked, "Look, I don't want to be greedy. I'm happy, and now I want to keep this feeling for another couple of months. I'm not going to play chess for the next 3 months. I just want to be a winner for some time." Very, 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 very classy comment by Samay. Very, very, very nice. Okay, so he told him what to play against each player in the opening. Now, one thing that's actually very tricky though, and I saw this, is that with these stronger events that happen, the openings actually do have some importance. And one player in particular really was unfortunate from that standpoint. That player, of course, was Tyler 1. Tyler 1, obviously, he's played this cow opening every time. He tried to play it in this event too, and there was one game he played against Spargo, I think it was, where he lost in like 9 moves with black. So the opening prep it's not a joke at all. It's not a joke. Anyway, Samay wins. Really, really good stuff. Really, really impressive. I think it speaks to how at the I think what it speaks to how at the lower levels the improvement can be so much faster. And even if you haven't played that much, if something clicks in your head, you can really, really improve. And I think it's very very impressive that he won this. I think it's impressive also Sardosh, who spent a lot of time on chess too. Like Sardosh was someone who I think it started as like 1300. He did tons of puzzles, played tons of chess, took a bunch of lessons with the French guys. I think like Maxime, Kevin Bordy, all those guys. So like a big props to Samay. Or to Sardosh, I should say. I don't know about Masi. I haven't actually messaged Masi. I'm going to probably message him and ask him about the event. Like maybe I'll send him a text right now. I don't know where my phone is. But also very impressive. Final thoughts on Andrea. I mean, I think it's just the reality when you don't play chess that much. And and you don't do anything to prove, it's kind of like it's like, I don't know how to explain it. I'll try to explain this in a graph way. So in a graph way, it's like if you're up here at the very top as a chess player, you can't improve much, but you also can't go down much. It's like you're gonna be in this very flat, tight band, this very tight rating range. Like you're not gonna suddenly go from 2,700 to like 2,500, for example. But I feel like at the lower bands, it's like your improvement can go like this. You can get a big up curve, or you can get a big down curve, because like you don't have the fundamentals, so it can go both ways. So it's like goes way up, goes way down. If you're really near the top, it's gonna be flat lining up here. If that makes sense to people who are watching. And so I think for Andrea, the fact that she hasn't played chess in any kind of serious way in the last like probably 3 years. I mean, I know she played, I think, in Iceland, if I'm not mistaken, but the fact that she hasn't played seriously in so long, I think that probably plays a very big role. Andrea was really crushed. I'd hope for a rematch between Masi and Andrea in the final. Well, also I would say for Andrea, I suspect that she probably assumed that she didn't need to do any real preparation as well. I assume she also assumed that she was just going to roll and win rather easily. Because none of these people played chess really as kids other than Masi. And so I think she also greatly underestimated the field. Like I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if she just thought she was going to win. She said she prepped a lot, but I mean, she played the same London system she's played her whole life. So I don't know. I don't know about that part. Because like she played the same London system, like everybody's ready for her London system every game. So I mean, I'm not sure I buy that. But having said that, as someone just mentioned in the chat, and this is very important, I believe there's some health stuff going on as well. So like that could have played a role too. So let's not get too far down the drain on all this stuff. But yeah, I think in general, I think if she had been serious about it, I mean, I suspect that she would have won. I suspect that she would have won. As far as Linda Diaz goes, I just think Linda Diaz, who's the other player who played as a kid seriously, I suspect that she hasn't played chess for like 10 years. Like she's so far removed from the game that she's like at a much weaker level than she used to be. So at any rate, big props to Masi, to Sardosh, to Sam May. They were very, very impressive in this event. So it was good. Someone also asked one last question, which was someone was asking a question about do I think they'll do this again? I don't really think so. I mean, the viewership was not wonderful for the event. I mean, I know on the final day it peaked a little bit higher on Twitch, but in general, the viewership wasn't great. I mean, I didn't feel like there was a ton of interest in the event. I mean, I think a large part of that is because once it starts becoming more serious, you're not going to have the hype streamers playing, because like, again, the hype streamers, most people, I mean, if you think about streaming and you're successful, very few people will actually stream chess. Like Northern Lions made the one exception of somebody. I mean, Ludwig too, but Northern Lion and Ludwig are the two guys that I think of who could be decent at chess, who stream a lot of stuff and have a big audience. But of course, neither player was playing. I mean, I think Ludwig would have gotten pasted in this event, but Northern Lion, I mean, it would have been very interesting to see how he would have done if he played. But I think that's really the problem. Problem's the wrong word, but I think in terms of viewership, that's the reason that it wasn't very hype for the online audience. For the Indians, of course, I'm sure they loved it. Sam May won, it was great, but I do think that that's probably the general gist of it, is that if you want to have an event that's going to generate huge viewership, you're going to have to invite the Ludwigs, the XQCs, the Northern Lions although Northern Lions a weird one because like he's too good to actually play Pogchamps, but you're going to have to invite guys like that. That's where you're going to have to invite. People like that if you want viewership. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of like, like this. It was mildly interesting, but the viewership was not there in a way that you're ever going to get sponsors. So we'll see if they do it again. I don't know. If they do it again, I suspect they're going to go back to they're going to have to go back to the regular PogChamps format with weaker players where they try to generate hype and viewership. So Sardosh has not a small amount of viewers. I don't know about the event, but I mean, in general, I've seen Sardosh all over the place. He might have 5K, 10K. Plenty of his streams I see like 2K, so it's all over the place. But still, I'm skeptical they'll do it again, but maybe they will. Maybe they'll run it again. Who knows? But at any rate, let's just celebrate the people who put in the work and the time to play this event. Very specifically, like Sardosh, Tame, Masi, and everybody else who played. So it's great to see. I'm actually on a certain level, I'm very happy to see that it was not Andrea who won, because I think it's probably a slightly better look that way versus if she had won. But still, it's good. So that was good to see. A good event. Sam May wins. Congrats to Sam May. Really good event. And that's going to do it for this bit of content. So I hope you guys enjoy this. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure that you smash that subscribe button below. And obviously we're gonna have more great content, everything else. Let me know in the comments how you feel. Obviously the Indians are going to show a lot of love for Sam May. Great performance, but hope you guys enjoyed it and have a great rest of your day. See you guys. Bye.